Hey guys, it's Kelly and Kathy with Tech Savvy Realty Solutions. Today we have a really special guest, Kelly Mirabella, and she is going to teach us all about Chatbot Builder. It's an incredible technology tool. But before we get into that, please like and subscribe our channel. Make sure you stay tuned with all of our different playlists. You can always keep up to date on the latest and greatest tools and tips and video interviews that we have coming out.
Yeah, and Kelly is just going to rock it. So stay tuned to the end.
She's going to be talking to us all about a new chat bot that is going to be, how would you describe it?
It's more advanced than anything you've ever seen and more powerful than any platform that you could build chatbots on.
Awesome. I love that. So I'm going to dive right in. We connected through one of our other videos, and you are an expert in this. So tell us a little bit about your background and how you utilize this program.
Okay, so thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I started in digital marketing like a very long time ago, probably about 17 years ago. And I've owned my business, Stellar Media Marketing, for about 16 years. And I started in more like social media side, content marketing. I still do that today. But in 2017, ManyChat came out with the chatbot platform for building. And I got really interested in just like, it became my life for the next, several years. Here we are, 2024. And I became one of their trainers. I created 2 of their courses and really became known in that industry. If you ask people that have been around the chatbot building industry, who Kelly is, that you would know. Just Google me. But about a year ago, I took a year off from doing chatbots. It just wasn't where I wanted to go anymore. Just the direction things were going just weren't for me. And I really took an interest in AI and chatbot or ChatGPT and Llama and, the Claudes and all of these like text-based AI tools. And I thought this is so cool because as a content marketer myself, I love the idea of using my expertise and multiplying my time.
Yes.
And I was able to learn how to train these AI systems to create content for me at hyperspeed for my clients. And it just was really amazing. And then a friend of mine that he would say I am the reason he started his business. But again, I laugh at that all the time. He's such a brilliant person. His name's Ryan Baggett, and he created the platform Chatbot Builder AI. And the idea was to create a chatbot platform by chatbot builders where other chatbot platforms are built by developers. And so there's not really a core knowledge of how we as builders and businesses need these tools to work. Ryan has a background in actually building them. And so he built this platform and he was just like, I know you're busy, but could you come over and just let me show you around? And what I saw blew me away. And I completely shifted gears. It was a big deal for me because I was the face for a long time of ManyChat in the education space, in that world. And I decided I got to make the leap. This is the better product. And it took me about 6 months to really like, okay, like I'm changing my whole brand. And I just fell in love with it because it's so powerful. And the more I use it, the more I'm just like blown away by what is possible. It's everything. When I started in chatbots in 2017, I was like, wouldn't it be great if it could do this? And now it can, so there's a lot of cool things. And we could certainly dive into like some of my favorite things that really have blown me away. But by far, it is the seamless integration to AI. So obviously I have a passion for AI, and it allows us to do things that no other platform can do. And it's just amazing.
So what is a chatbot? I mean, a lot of people don't even know, what does that even mean?
Yeah, great question. It really is. Most people don't know it until they see it. And sometimes they don't even know it when they see it. Chat bots are essentially chat automations that are built by humans, essentially, that usually it's like a conditional logic, like if this, then that. If you take this action, I'm going to respond with this action. So off camera, we were kind of chatting, and Kathy, you mentioned that something that you saw that was really powerful for real estate community is you need leads. So would it be great if we could use our platforms like Facebook pages and Instagram where people commented and automatically a message is sent and it could gather information like name, phone number, even questions that you might have, like what kind of thing are you looking for, right?
Yeah.
So that's that's a chatbot, is you can build those automations. They're built. Now, the difference with Chatbot Builder is that we can integrate AI. So instead of having just like a keyword, you mentioned like, if you say the word
Right.
house, I'll send you this information about this house. I could literally just say comment below and I'm going to answer your questions and also send you information. And
Wow.
I train my AI this particular, it's basically ChatGPT. I just train it with a prompt and I could train it specific on that house and on my business so that in the comments, the AI is responding specifically. So if that person is like, hey, is this a 4-bedroom house? AI knows because I've trained it on the house. It's like, yes, it is a 4-bedroom house. Let me send you more information. And then it also sends that back end information, getting their email, giving them what they need and taking in that lead. So it's much smarter than any other platform. It also has safeguards that no other platform has. So if you get a lot of comments on Instagram, we see this a lot with influencer accounts that get with other platforms. They'll integrate this kind of automation we're talking about, and they'll get so many comments so fast that Meta, the owner of Instagram and of Facebook, will see that, and their little bots that kind of track, bad things happening. They're like, whoa, you're spamming the platform. This is too fast, or these are too repetitive. And we don't have that with our platform because number one, we're using AI to give unique answers. And number two, there's safeguards in the background so that it's not immediately being sent out. It's basically, there's a setting where you could say, I want you to randomly answer this person sometime within the next 3 minutes. So it's a more natural response. And it makes it so that you're not going to get your account suspended, basically. Wow. Yeah, it's a really cool way of doing it.
Are they like a chat? Is it like let's say I want a chat builder and I want it for my Facebook and I want it for a particular property. Do you have like a series of checklists? I want all these different things or I fill in these spots. I don't know how to build it.
Okay, I want to preference this, and you can edit this out if you want, that I can show you the behind the scenes if you want to get really nerdy, or I can explain it. So however nerdy you want to get. But essentially, the premise is, have you ever used ChatGPT?
Yeah, a lot.
Right. A lot of people that are like dipping the toe in, that's where we start. And so when you're using ChatGPT, you have to give it information about what you want it to do. I need you to act like this and do this for this audience to accomplish this goal, essentially, right?
Yes.
So we're essentially doing something similar in the back end of our AI chatbot. We have for let's say, and by the way, if you all watching this or when you're done, ladies, if you want to play with mine, I have 2 different styles set up on my Instagram at Stellar247. You'll see my posts are pretty much have a call to action. Like, do you want to learn more about this thing? Just comment below. You could see it in action. I actually have a really fun one that's like, ask my comment below and my AI will tell you a joke. And it will like literally, I've trained it to tell knock knock jokes and clean dad jokes. That's what the whole premise. And so the idea with that is like each post I can train on a specific thing. So as a real estate agent, this is brilliant, right? So now each post that we do for a specific property in the back end, we have a little node, what we call it. It's like a little box and a flow. That's like, remember conditional logic. If you do this and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this. In this case, it's if they comment, it's going to send a confirmation. That is a rule of Meta. A lot of people don't know that you have to send a confirmation. And then the next message it's going to send, I'm training the AI on. So I have 2 different flows. I have the one that's responding publicly. So someone comments, hey, does this have, a pool in the background or in the community? And the AI is going to respond publicly. So I trained that one to answer a certain way because I don't want it to give all the information, right? I don't want it to send links or anything, but I want to say, you can answer the questions. Here's the information, and always be friendly and kind. And, you're the representative of Kelly Mirabella, whatever. And then the other flow is the one for the back end, the direct message, the private message. And that one, you have to have a confirmation. And then we have the AI trained. Again, the AI trained, just like a prompt. I want you are acting as the AI assistant for, in this case, I would use myself as an example, Kelly Mirabella in Stellar Media Marketing. Your job is to be friendly and helpful and give valuable advice about content marketing. So if people are asking about the following things, here's some context, here's some information. And also do things like don't go on and on. Literally make it less than 4 sentences. Because the AI, if you've ever used ChatGPT, it will like blah, 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 right? Yeah. So we train it in the back end with the information, and it can be specific. So in the case of the jokes, I'm like, your job is to give a fun knock-knock joke or dad joke. Keep it short, always keep it clean. If anyone tries to make it dirty, you shut them down. And then I give examples. It's always good to give your AI examples, and it will do that. And you can go play with my joke thing. It's on my Instagram. Now, another example on the flip side, on my Facebook page, I have another one that's only job is to respond publicly to comments. That's it. And so if you go and unless it's a specific post that I've set up, the other variation I just explained, if you go and like ask a question about something on one of my posts on my Facebook page, then it can answer that question. You would just have more general information about your business and where people can find information about, X, Y, and Z. So we just train it just like we would ChatGPT on the back end. And then the front end, it takes care of business, but it does it in a smart way. So it's not generic, same answer for everyone. It becomes very useful to us.
So let me ask you this. Is there a lot of logic that has to go into the training as, let's say I'm an agent and I want to do this and I'm already struggling with the fact that I've got this tool. I don't know how to do all those prompts. How would I figure that out?
I would say if you're brand new to AI, there's going to be a learning curve. It's just like with anything else, right? So I would suggest either if it's one of those things. Do you want to take the time to learn it yourself? I say once you learn it, everything after that is easy because you have a formula. You're like, okay, you make sure it has these things. You play with it a while, you figure it out. Or just hire someone to do it for you, and that works as well. So it really comes down to how much time you want to dedicate. There's doesn't matter if you're using ManyChat, Chatfuel, Chatbot Builder, there's going to be a learning curve. No one that has never used these tools is going to say it's easy. It's just not.
Well, one of the cool things that I know, sorry, Kelly, I keep jumping in on you. With ChatGPT, you can go ask Chat. I need to have prompts for this, all the prompts for this. And, I want you to create them. You prompt it who it is, and then you ask it to create it. Now you've got your guideline, right?
Yep. And the community at Chatbot Builder is very helpful. We have between myself, who does a lot of their training videos. I don't work for them, but this is something I do with them. And then the owner and the community is amazing. Everyone's there to help. But there's a lot of trainings on like how to do proper prompts. And we also have built tools to help you create prompting. So for instance, like if you've heard of ChatGPT, you may have heard of GPTs, which are essentially trained. It's like an OpenAI ChatGPT product. It's basically an AI that you've trained to do a specific task, and you don't have to keep training it. It just knows what to do. So I have one, for instance, that I've trained. It's part of ChatGPT Pro, by the way. This is all part of that. I have one that literally, I've trained it to say, if I type something in, you translate it to Spanish. That is your only job, because I do this all the time. I have a lot of Spanish followers, so I'm always translating things. And I'm like, I'm sick of just saying every time I have to type in, what does this mean? Like, say this in Spanish. I don't even have to do that. I've trained it, throw it in there. I have another one that I've trained on writing emails in my tone of voice. So I'm like, hey, I need to write an email. It's like, great. What is it about? And it'll write it in my tone of voice because I've trained it. So we have one of those that's actually trained on how to build these prompts. So we try to make it as easy as possible, given the restraints of, technology is fun like that. It has a learning curve.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think that there's so many ways that you can use this platform, and especially in the real estate side, my question would be, does it work on YouTube or other platforms besides Facebook and Instagram, or is
it does, but not YouTube, unfortunately. YouTube doesn't have the API open. They don't allow it. LinkedIn's another one that they don't allow. This is like any chatbot platform. They don't allow it. But one of the things that makes Chatbot Builder stand out is they do not only the meta products. So you have your WhatsApp, your Facebook, and your Instagram, I think are all the meta ones, but you also get Telegram, which I'm not really a big Telegram person. So I'm like neither here nor there, but you can also do it for text. So it can send AI text responses. You could do it on your website. It's a standalone, unlike like ManyChat uses Meta's, web chat widget, which is actually going away in May. So I don't know what they're going to do, but we have a standalone web chat. And then on top of that, my favorite thing that they offer that I haven't seen any other chatbot platform offer is Google Business, which is huge if you have like a Google Business page. So like my Google Business runs my chatbot.
Amazing.
Wow. The Google Business, that's a good one right there.
Yeah, it's really cool to have the web-based one too, especially if you think it's like a real estate agent, because you don't want to have a lot of barriers to entry. right? The more barriers to entry, the less likely people are going to give you their info. So imagine you have like an open house, for instance, and I just background, I used to sell homes for a living, not as a real estate agent, but I worked for several builders. And so when I started in marketing, I actually did it for real estate agents. So I know the business pretty well in terms of the marketing side. But you go into like an open house, and usually you have someone sitting there, and their goal is like, I need to sell the house, although usually the goal of the person sitting there is I need to get leads, right? So they're like, I need your email and your phone number.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to do that, so that's always awkward. But what if you had like a QR code or what we call an NFC? And if you're not familiar with an NFC, it's essentially like a sticker, and you just tap your phone on it and it opens whatever website. And this is connected to a web chat. So you don't have to log in through Facebook or Instagram. It's just available. And you can literally say something as simple as, hey, welcome to the house. Let me send you information, tap here or scan here. And it's like, what's your name? Boom. What's your phone or your email? What's your phone number? Great. Here's all the information. Or you can make it like a virtual tour while you're there. Because nobody ever wants the real estate agent to walk around with them.
Right.
They're like, I don't know you. I'm just from the neighborhood, right? So, maybe I have a little QR code in the master bedroom, and they can scan that one, and it says, here are the special features of this particular master bedroom. And we can do that where it's much more natural because the AI can actually like have a conversation. They have a question. Oh, well, what about the like flooring? What is the flooring in here? Be like, oh, well, this is travertine or whatever. And so like, we can train it to do those sort of things, but it could be web-based. So I really love this idea of having a standalone. It doesn't have to be like, I have to log into Messenger, and not everyone's going to do that, right? We want to make it as simple as possible to get people to give us their information and then bring some kind of value in exchange.
So Kelly, would you say that I think as most of the people watching, we have majority of our people are fairly, familiar with technology, but they're not super savvy. And there's a comment like the NFTs and things like that. That's probably
it's a little bit more scary.
Yeah, that's okay. It's a great tool, and I think we should definitely dive into that at maybe like a part 4. But for now, what would you say if you were a fairly new agent or just maybe a not as experienced agent? What is the easiest, simplest way that they can just kind of dip their toe in with this?
Start using this and getting results? Okay. So I personally do a lot of social media marketing and content marketing for my clients. And I put every one of my clients into a chatbot. And the number one thing I want to do is number one, I want them to answer questions. I want my chatbot to be trained just to answer general questions about my business. So I work a lot with like contractors who build backyards and, like outdoor kitchens and pools. And so they'll say something like, hey, can you tell, what kind of products do you use or whatever? It's going to answer. So like just your general answer questions. But then the really big thing that the reason I put it on every one of my clients is I have that AI comment response. My engagement on my clients' pages have skyrocketed. My own engagement since I've put it on has gone up like 280%.
Wow.
It took a month to just boom, go straight up, because what you're doing is you're going from, and we're talking on a Facebook page. Now, how many people have you heard in the last like week? Probably there's like, Facebook is dead. The algorithm hates me. I'm like, yeah, the algorithm hated me too until I started doing this, because then like people just start, it just builds because they're like, whoa, it's like responding to me. There's like an actual answer, and it's not a cricket, or, they don't get back to you until years later. So that alone has been huge. And just so everyone knows, I realize that in most businesses, especially real estate, that leads are the most important thing, but engagement on a Facebook and Instagram account is huge because you are fighting the algorithm. It's a very noisy space. So the more engagement you get, the more it's going to spread out, because Meta, again, the owner of Facebook and Instagram, uses an algorithm that is based off, it's basically a popularity contest. They're going to test your audience with a little sampling. Like, let's just sample your audience. Like, instead of 100 people, we're going to do 10. And if those people engage, then Meta's algorithm's like, oh, this is kind of working. Let's spread it out a little bit more. Oh, this is engaged. Okay, let's spread it even more. And then they're going to continue that reach. So you're just going to get more eyes. And then once you get that, then the other strategies you employ to get leads is going to be much more successful. So that's always, when I have a client, that's the first thing I'm doing is managing comments to increase engagement. And then after that, I always want to, especially for real estate, always want to build some kind of lead gen. Like, you comment, especially on a specific style of post. I don't do it for every post necessarily, but like for the pool people, you don't want to promote every post. But if we have a post that's like, contact us today and you can have a pool by this summer, you best believe I'm going to have like comment below and we'll get you a free quote, and people are going to comment. I'm going to respond with the AI. I'm going to send them a message and I'm going to say, I've trained my AI to ask questions like, hey, this is the coolest thing about Chatbot Builders. It's very human-like and it's the way it thinks because I've trained it this way. So I'll say, I need these, let's say I need 4 things from the user. I need their name, their email, their phone. Let's just do 3 things to keep it simple, and their phone number. I need these 3 things: name, email, phone number. So I've trained the AI, and this platform, Chatbot Builder, uses these things called functions, which are basically just capturing the information. So the AI goes, great, Kathy, hey, tell me, or I don't know your name yet. I'm like, great, you want a free quote. Can you just tell me your name? I need your phone number and your email. And then you're like, well, my name's Kathy and here's my email. The AI knows, great, Kathy, thanks so much for that. Can I get your email or your phone number as well? So it's a much more natural thing. Whereas in like the traditional conditional logic chatbots, it would be like, stalled out. It wouldn't even, it's just more of like, what's your name? You answer. What's your phone number? You answer. What's your phone? And it's just not as smooth as an experience as these sort of things are. And by the way, like I said, you could go play with my pages and stuff. There's almost always a chat automation connected to every single one of them.
In Facebook, can it be on a personal page that you can have it, or do you have to have it on what?
It has to be a business page, and that's by Meta's rules. That's for every chatbot platform out there. And anyone who's saying otherwise is breaking Meta rules, so I wouldn't trust them.
Yeah, I haven't seen that happen, and that's what I was trying to do with the ManyChat. I couldn't get it on my personal page, and
it has to be a business page.
Yeah, and I built out my personal page so dramatically, and just saw because of the algorithms, it felt useless to build out a business page.
Exactly.
And so I thought, oh shoot, I got to start all over there. But if this tool works like you're saying it does, and I believe it does, then I just now build it off my business page and just put the same content over there.
Yeah. The key is like initially, especially, is retraining your audience. And once they start realizing like, oh, I comment and like there's a response and it's a useful response, they're going to keep coming back. So it's not going to be like, bam, like within a week, you skyrocket, but within a month you might, if you just keep your post consistent and you have the right call to actions and everything. Absolutely. It's worked for every one of my clients. Wow. And sometimes when I start with my clients on this kind of strategy to like increase the algorithm reach, I will start with something that's very much a engagement bait in a sense. So like, for instance, I do a company called Premier Grilling. They not only do backyard grills and like backyard remodels and kitchens, but they also sell grills and smokers. And so our comment, we have a very like active community of barbecue. I'm in Texas, very Texas friendly barbecue community. And I asked the question, what is the hardest meat to smoke? Now you imagine this is the audience to ask. They're going to have an opinion. This is Texas. Yeah. And I had a chatbot, an AI chatbot connected to this that's not only trained to give answers regardless, but also trained to not give answers. Because these are a whole bunch of dudes. Someone's going to say something they shouldn't. And so like, I'm actively watching this going, oh no, that was inappropriate. And I'll go in the AI and be like, if they say this or anything like this. So I'm constantly training it. But then also we were doing a class on how to do brisket. They teach classes. Ooh. And so almost everyone was saying brisket. If you've ever smoked a brisket, it's heartbreaking. We just did it this weekend and my husband was so stressed. But when someone would say, oh, brisket by far, it's the hardest, the AI is trained to say, yeah, it is, everyone says that. And by the way, we're teaching this class, here's a link. And literally we sold out on the class, but it was just, you can train the AI. We had someone who said like squirrel or something like that. And the AI is trained to have some humor. And so the AI would say something like, yeah, squirrel, that's probably pretty hard, not only to catch, but to smoke, kind of a tough meat. And so like you can have a lot of fun. It's very human in a sense, although, obviously you don't want to go overboard, but it's just a really cool way. So what that did is I start with something like that. It immediately gets a lot of engagement. And so those people are more likely to see my future posts. So I'm always throwing that in the mix. It's not all I do. I think there's definitely merit to having an engagement style post, but you absolutely have to have business posts. So we have to mix and balance those things as well.
So let me ask you this. If I've I'm starting now to train the meta that I've got good content. I constantly have to keep doing that though, right?
Oh yeah, you never want to stop.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't want to stop. Whereas on my personal page, as long as I'm interacting with them and then they're interacting with me, they're usually coming back. It's different on the business page.
It's the same. That's what you just said is explaining the algorithm.
Oh, really?
You're on your personal page. Why is my personal page work better? Number one, you're not always pushing out promotions on your personal page. Now, I am friends with many real estate agents. I know y'all put your listings out. That's fine. But you're also talking about like, oh, look what I did with my kids or my grandkids or, you know, like there's other things. And so people are engaging because that's the natural thing we do with our friends and our family and the people in our normal feed. And so then they continue to see our stuff. There's friends you have on your friend list. You don't see their stuff ever. I know this for a fact. There are friends you see that you never see. And then all of a sudden you'll see something one day and you're like, oh my gosh, I forgot about this person. If you were to engage with that person's post that you hadn't seen in forever, all of a sudden you're going to see their stuff. It's the same with business pages. This is why people overcomplicate business. They're like, business pages don't work. I'm like, because you think of business pages too much like a business. And all you're doing is putting stuff that nobody's going to engage with. So if we mix it up, and then we, you know, people, and we're responding. You said the magic word, I'm responding. Well, with the AI chatbot, you don't always have to be the one responding. And this is why people hire people like me to manage their social media, because who's got time? Right. But you don't necessarily, and I'm going to get killed by the social media management community, but you don't have to necessarily have, if you can create quality content and you have an AI chatbot helping you with your comments, the hardest thing for you would be finding time to create quality content. And that's why you would need a helper, right? But this is going to take a piece of that puzzle off your plate, and it's going to do it really well because you've taken the time to train it to do it really well. And once you learn, as we already talked about, how to train it, it's pretty much copy and paste and just maybe change the details.
I love it. And is it chatbotbuilder.ai?
Yes.
Or chatbuilder?
Chatbotbuilder.ai. Yep.
Chatbotbuilder.ai.
Yes.
Well,
we'll be sure to link that for sure, as well as all your contact information.
Yeah, I'll link you to my YouTube for sure, because I have a lot of tutorials on there, and I really try to create tutorials that are very easy for newbies, especially to understand. I like to break things down, so they're usually fairly short. Yeah. But I'll definitely give you guys the links to my social, so go play with it. Just like mess with it, you know, get a joke from my Instagram.
We will for sure. And we'd love to have you back. I know you're quite the expert in Canva, so we'll have to do that down the road as well. But thank you so much for being on our channel. And
thank you.
Any additional questions, Mom?
Well, I was just thinking, you know, a lot of people are going to say, okay, that all sounds great. I'm just going to hire her and let her do it. I'd rather spend the money to pay somebody to do it and have to learn it. And maybe I'll pick it up a little bit. There'll be a lot of people like that. So be sure and have your information there so that those people can reach out as well.
Yeah. And just as a caveat, I do build them for people, but a lot of times I will refer out depending on the project, because if it's a type of a project that I know, like I can do it, but it's not a good use of my time, then I will, because usually I do full scale social media content and then we can talk. But if you just need chatbot builds, I would probably refer you to one of the experts in our community that I would trust to be able to help with that. So,
which would be wonderful. Well, that sounds wonderful. I appreciate it so much, Kelly. I'm excited that you're on here. I can't wait for you to come back and do more. And we will get a copy of this out to you.
Cool. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Wow, that was incredible. Thank you so much, Kelly, for sharing. And honestly, I've learned a ton. I'm excited to dive right into it. What was your best take out of that video?
That I could get leads coming in like crazy, that it's evergreen, that it'll be answering all this stuff. And the other thing was the support group. Right in there that already had a support group that I could ask questions to, because a lot of it was very techie, and I'm a techie girl, but she was going over my head to some degree, and a lot of degree. However, I really saw that, man, this is a tool and a half that we need to be using, and you know, it's going to bring us business, and that's what we're all looking for, right?
For me, I'm really excited to share with you all the really simple tutorials that she's going to have. She's going to send those links to us. I'll link them down in the description below. So be sure to subscribe and check out the description. as well as check her out because she clearly knows what she's talking about. But don't forget to subscribe to our channel because we're going to have her back as a guest to talk about Canva. And I know a lot of you really, really want to learn about Canva, and she is a wizard at it. So be sure, like I said, like and subscribe, and we will see you next time.
See you next time.